the way we define personal branding at Brand Builders Group is that personal branding is simply the digitization of reputation. And so that's what we help our clients do, is build reputation. Part of that is content. Part of that is digital marketing. Part of that is book launches. Part of that is getting book deals. Part of that is podcasting. Part of that is scaling your business. These are all the things that we advise on. What even is a brand? You hear that word a lot, but what does it really mean? And I'm reminded of about 11 years ago, coming up on 11 years ago, when my wife AJ and I got married. At our rehearsal dinner, our families were just meeting for the first time. And it was a bit awkward because my family we come from sort of a lower middle class background. I grew up in a trailer park, and we just didn't come from much. And her family, my wife AJ, comes from a very proper, well-to-do Southern family. And so I'm pretty sure my family was looking at her family going, do these people know how to party like we know how to party, man? And I'm quite confident AJ's family was looking at my family saying, was there a prison break or something? Like, where did all these people come from? And AJ told me to stand up and tell a story that had happened to us just a few days earlier when we were filing for our marriage license. Because when we went to get our marriage license, you have to fill out this piece of paper. And so at the county clerk, AJ she's filling out this paper, and she writes in her name, her birth date, her social security number, and all of that. Well, the bottom half of the paper was supposed to be all about the husband. But rather than giving it to me to fill out, AJ decided she was just going to fill it out for me. And so she writes in my name, my birth date, my social security number, and she gets to the last question, which asks about ethnicity for me. And she writes in Caucasian. And I looked at her and I was like, honey, what are you doing? And she said, what? I said, you just wrote down Caucasian. She goes, yeah, so? And I said, honey, I'm Mexican. Like, I'm Hispanic. And it was the first moment it dawned on her that she was actually about to marry a Mexican man. And I wondered for a second if she was going to even go through with the whole thing. But of course she did. And she knew that my mother's maiden name was Reala Vasquez and that my grandmother was born in Mexico, but she didn't think of me in that way. And that really is what a brand is. A brand is, what do people think of when they think of you? What do people think of when they think of you? And by the way, when I told this story at our rehearsal dinner, my whole side of the family immediately started cracking up. They thought it was hilarious. They were like doubled over with laughter. They just thought it was the funniest thing. Her whole side of the family at the exact same time all look at each other and they're like, he's Mexican? It was like nobody had that idea. They didn't think of me in that way. And so this is what a brand is. It is not, you don't control your brand, you influence your brand, but ultimately it's what do others think of when they think of you. Now, when you translate that into the business community, to scaling your side hustle or your business, to growing as an entrepreneur, which is something that AJ and I have done several times. So we are business partners. We're also married. We got a couple kids, but we have scaled 4 different 7-figure businesses, 1 8-figure business that we also sold, and then we are in the process of working on Brand Builders Group, which is on its path to be another 8-figure business. And so we have spent a lot of time doing this, and specifically Brand Builders Group looks at personal brands. We don't work with companies, we work with individuals. And one of the things that we realized is that another word for personal brand is reputation. a lot of people hear the concept of personal branding and they go, oh, okay, that sounds like a new concept, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't, maybe you're not totally sure what it is. But what we have discovered is that personal brand is just a new term for an old concept, which is reputation. In fact, the way we define personal branding at Brand Builders Group is that personal branding is simply the digitization of reputation. The digitization of reputation. And so that's what we help our clients do, is build reputation. Part of that is content. Part of that is digital marketing. Part of that is book launches. Part of that is getting book deals. Part of that is podcasting. Part of that is scaling your business. These are all the things that we advise on. But not everybody is convinced that personal branding is really a huge part of the future. And one of the things that we just recently finished, so AJ, my wife and business partner, is also our CEO. I function more like the CMO, actually. And she just led a year-long project that was a national research study. And we partnered with an independent third-party research firm called the Center for Generational Kinetics to actually go and survey a population, a statistically valid, sample size weighted to the U.S. Census Bureau. So the data that I'm going to share with you, and there's a couple data points I'm going to share that came out of this study, and it is brand new, very fresh. This just got finalized last week. So you're some of the first people publicly to even see this, is some irrefutable data points about what personal branding means. Now, it's a U.S. study, and I apologize to some extent. I wish we could have afforded to do an international study, but this first one was just for the U.S., but is still very telling, I think, of trends, this trend that you would see kind of also happening around the world. And this is one of the big data points that came out of this proprietary research study that our team commissioned and performed. And that is that 3/4 of Americans, 74%, so almost 3/4, say they are more likely to trust someone who has an established personal brand. And trust is what this is about. Trust points to reputation. The reason why people aren't buying your thing, the reason why people aren't following you, the reason they're not engaging, they're not hiring you to speak or coach or consult or train or hiring your service or buying your widget, it's all about trust. And this study points conclusively to the idea that a personal brand is one of the most effective ways to build trust in the very short term. Now, one of the things that I want to highlight for you is that when we did this study, you'll notice this is the answer in total. But one of the reasons we partnered with the Center for Generational Kinetics is because they stratify the data by generation, which you can see listed here. The reason they do that is because when you stratify these answers by generation, it allows you to predict forthcoming trends, because whatever the younger generations say to be true tells you what's going to happen in the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And look at this. If you just look at older millennials, so those are people ages 35 to 44 right now, it's actually way more than 74%. It's 85%. Younger millennials and Gen Z is 79%. So it's 74% in total overall, but it's becoming even more important in the future. Personal branding is a trust accelerator. It is one of the fastest, most cost-effective ways to build reputation.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you truly enjoyed it. I'm Alessio Pieroni and I'm the founder of Scale for Impact and obviously of Scale with Alessio. In this channel you can find some of the most amazing marketing content, the content that will help your online education business to go to the next level. And if you want to see other videos like this one, please subscribe to this channel. It means really the world for us. And please also comment below and tell us how you found this video. It's truly important. If on the other side you want to go to the next level and you actually want to make sure that you can watch the entire talks from the Scale series, you want to see over 50 speakers, people that have been changing the entire marketing landscape, and see exactly how these can take your business to the next level, please subscribe to the Scale series. For just $99, you're gonna get the chance to see some of the most amazing speakers, and on top of that, get a lot of other bonuses. You're gonna have 3 amazing books completely for free inside that, tens of hours of other marketing training, all of it for just $99. Literally, that's just $2 per talk. And we're not talking about random speakers. We're talking about people like Jay Abram, people like Alex Cattoni, Vishen Lakhiani, Jeff Walker, Perry Marshall, Rich Schefrin, Molly Pittman, Murray Smith. Incredible people that change the entire marketing landscape right now at your fingertip for just $2 each. So don't wait anymore. It's time for you to get the Scale series. See you there and upgrade your marketing knowledge.